and welcome to In My Mug, episode 397 on Monday the 20th of June, 2016. I am your host, Stephen Lane. Actually, I should be doing bonjour, je m'appelle Stephen, because I'm in Paris in Telescope, which is a coffee shop that is owned by one of my good friends, Nico. It's very close to the Louvre. We've done an In My Mug here before as well. I can't remember what number it was, but it was quite a few years ago, at least 2 or 3 years ago. But I'm here for the Euros this week. I watched Sweden against Ireland on Monday. I'm watching Switzerland against Romania today. And then I've got England against Wales tomorrow. Then I'm back home. So all of the fun. And I thought while I was here, it could be cool to do an In My Mug in the shop. So that's what I'm doing. This week's coffee comes from Bolivia. It comes from a farm called Don Carlos. Now, some of you might remember Belinda that we had quite a few years ago. Belinda was the colony, is where Don Carlos is. This is a brand new farm, and it's been planted by Daniela and Pedro Rodriguez, and Pedro Pablo as well, who's the son also. Daniela is the daughter, and Pedro is the dad. They're the exporters that we've been buying all of our amazing Bolivians from for the past few years. Probably in love with these guys. They are doing such an amazing job, but they've noticed that coffee production in Caranavi has been on the decline, so people are planting less and less coffee, and the best way they thought they could combat that was by starting to buy some land and plant their own farms so they can have ultimate control of cherry processing and exporting. This farm is named after Carlos, who is the mill manager and all-round fixer. Like, he just runs around the place fixing stuff. Carlos is just an amazing guy. I'm going to put a picture on the screen of him now. He's just proper legend, and they love him so much on the mill that they decided to name one of their farms after him, which I think is a pretty big honour. The farm sits around about 1,400 to 1,650 metres above sea level. It is planted with Caturra, which is this one, Catai, which we also have, Longbri, which is like a Java type varietal. They have geisha planted on there. They're doing a whole heap of experiments, red and yellow and orange bourbon, that we're going to start seeing coming through over the years. But this is the first proper production lot that's come from there. Remember which one was it? The La Linda? Well, La Linda is also one of their farms, so this is the same project that they're doing all at the same time. Virgin land, never had coffee planted on it, been completely turned over. It was forest, kind of abandoned land, and they've just kind of started turning it over and processing it and making it better, which I think is fantastic. Like, I really want to work with people like this that just want to make coffee production better in the places that they are. But what they also want to do is show the locals that there's profit in growing coffee. So a lot of people have lost hope that there is profit in coffee. And this is just something to try and start to get people excited again, and to try and show them that they can have productive coffee, you can have great prices for coffee, and this is their experiment. Anyway, we should go and do this week's mapping. So here I am. I'm not in UK at all. I'm still in Paris, but we're going up, and we'll probably, we saw a little bit of France then, and we're going across the Atlantic down to Bolivia. So obviously Bolivia is somewhere we spent a lot of time. We're going to zoom down, and we're going to zoom down. There we go, the country of Bolivia, the amazing, beautiful Andean spine that runs to the left of it. But here's a fact: the second largest lake in Bolivia is called Lake Pupu. And it's not a freshwater lake, so I'm not sure what it is if it's not a freshwater lake, but hey. So we're going to go down and we're going to zoom into Caranavi. Lots of coffees around here that you all know, but we're going down to Don Carlos. And we can see here, this is actually not a bad view, but you can see the very beginnings of the plantings. So if you look to the left, you can see the rows. This must have been just like 2-3 years ago. It's pretty new. But you can see the really kind of how high it is as well. Looking down on Caranavi, like, that's fantastic. And you can see the farm, you can see the city from the edge of the farm. I have some great photos of that. So the lowest point is Rio Paraguay, which is 90 metres above sea level. The highest is Nevado's Samanja, which is 6,542. Many times I say that word, I should maybe learn how to pronounce it. But you can see La Linda just a little bit further round, and Carmelita, which is another coffee that we've had from Bolivia. Basically all around this town, there's amazing coffee. That was the map bit. So that was the map bit. I kind of remember it not being so great, but it was a couple of weeks ago I recorded it, so who knows. So normally we would do Roland Staffat now, but I'm not. Funny enough, I don't have a face that I carry around with me for Roland. So we're going to go straight into the tasting, and I'm going to be joined by Nico, who owns Telescope, who's very kindly let me record this here. So I'll be back with you in just a second. So we're back, and I'm joined by Nico, who is the owner of Telescope. We've been here before.
Yeah, exactly.
We were over there last time, though, I think.
Yeah. This table was not existing.
No.
Maybe why.
And this bar is brand new as well.
Yes.
It's very cool. But the owl is still watching over.
Exactly, just like the bouncer.
So, tell people who may not have been here where you are and how they can find you if they come to Paris. So,
you take the Paris map, you make a cross, and I'm in the center of the cross.
So very near to the Louvre Gallery.
Between Louvre and Opera, yeah, very near to Louvre.
It's so easy to get here, as long as you're not driving.
Yeah, exactly.
Paris driving's interesting.
Yes, it's further those days.
It is. And your website? Do you have a website?
I have, kind of a blog on telescopecafe.com.
There we go.
And Instagram, always, like for the latest jokes.
So the address is on the blog as well, where people
everything,
can find you.
everything.
Right. We'll put a link somewhere, I'm sure. We should definitely do that.
It's going to be written in the bottom.
So, Telescope, tell us a little bit about how it started, why you opened a coffee shop in Paris, because when you started there wasn't really a lot of great coffee around, was there?
No, there was not. Discovered it through, I used to be a photographer, and through photography I had to shoot coffee, and I thought it was pretty uninteresting until I found out so many things.
Yep.
I got like totally keen on and went to New York to learn how it goes. Went to London.
Try not to walk on the table too much because I'll be getting seasick.
You're right. You're right. That was in my story, and I thought there was something missing in Paris.
Yeah.
Like good coffee was possible to make. It was when I started 4 years ago.
I mean, the thing is, there's an amazing coffee culture here.
Yeah.
But actually now, like I've been to 3 shops since I've been here.
Yeah.
It's a really good espresso, really good brewed coffee, and
Getting along.
isn't it? It's just like so different to when it first came. Like when I first came to the shop and recorded it in my mum, you really were the only place.
Yeah. Now you get like a few places where you can get very good coffee. 30-ish people taking care of coffee in Paris, which is pretty much.
Tell me a little bit about Frog Fight. Because like Frog Fight, I think was very much the start of this whole coffee culture in Paris.
Frog Fight was literally like coffee gigs in the middle of a desert, like Sahara surfers.
Yeah.
And found out that there was a real culture and community, and like most of the Frog Fight starters, like the people from the core of the Frog Fight group, all made their coffee shops happening. Like Tender with Thomas, was David here, which were the two founders. But then you also had like Chris from Foundation, Nico from Holy Belly. All those guys started making their own coffee shop, and Gerald from Mata Mata, I think Lustig is good to mention too, and I'm sure forget like a few.
But I think the other thing is what people like yourself and these other cup shops come in have raised the level of the guys who were already here that weren't really doing specialty before, I think, if we're honest. Now are actually doing good cup. Like I had a coffee from one of the more established roasters and it was espresso and it was really good. Like, and I remember it not being good.
The quality is amazing. The quality is and there's not a race, but there is something like something happening. The more coffee shop there is, the more we can share. I don't think we're competing because we're still a neighborhood thing. I don't think like there is the best coffee shop. There's maybe the favorite for people, but I think it's a lot about has a lot to do with sharing information. The more barista, the more skilled people, the better.
We knew that was going to fall off at some point, didn't we?
It's one.
Yeah. No. I shouldn't worry about it. Yeah, let me all look after us. No, I think that's exactly it. What there feels to be here is that there isn't that, oh, I must get on the metro and go to this coffee shop.
Yeah.
It's like, this coffee shop's close to me, I want to go there.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
it feels to be a lot of that.
And I know my friends are going to be there, I'm going to be able to say hi to people, or they're selling AeroPress there, or they're selling V60 there. Or whatever.
No, I think that's definitely a thing here, and but I really love the way the community does come together and doesn't try and compete.
Yeah.
That's good. That reminds me very much of London in 2007 when that whole thing started there.
Exactly.
And look what happened to London. You know, there's so many great destination cafes.
Yeah, fantastic. And it's even,
So, you don't work with just one roaster here. You have a lot of guest roasters coming in, don't you? So if somebody comes here, they
I have a main roaster.
Who's that then?
And a few mistresses.
Yeah, no, but I think it's really cool that, and that's something that is quite unique as well. I think in Paris, it seems to be that people tend to get married, whereas you sleep around, you're whore.
Yeah. I could also say that I work like a wine bar.
Yeah.
You wouldn't go to a wine bar where they just have wine from one producer, even if it's rosé, red, and white.
Yeah.
You like to have a bit of this region, and try things. Further in newborn coffee culture, people need to get like different taste profiles and things like this.
No, I think that's fantastic.
So it's very interesting.
So we should look at the coffee.
Sure.
So it's a Bolivian, it's a Caturra. It comes from Caranavi, and it's owned by Pedro and Daniela and Pablo Rodriguez.
Okay.
They're a family that run a mill, and they couldn't get enough coffee coming into the mill. They're exporters that we buy from as well. So they've actually bought 4 farms and just planted them out with coffee. This is the first yield to come off the farm, so it's only 3-year-old plants.
Yeah.
So, this is the first proper harvest. Named Don Carlos after the mill manager. So that's his name, and he's helping plant the farm and do all of the work. Exactly, so he's doing a lot of the husbandry and stuff. So let's dive in and try it. So we have no tasting notes for this again, just like last week when I did it, we had no tasting notes. We've got no tasting notes this week, so we're going to do them on the fly. And then I've got to email them to Chris for the label. So on this one, no tasting notes. So let's dive in. So for me, starting off, it's very typically Bolivian. It's got that sweet milk chocolate. It's kind of rounded. I'm getting a little bit of like hazelnut as well, like which I think I associate more with Brazils than I do with Bolivians. But there's a very delicate acidity on the end, and I can't quite work out what it is. So I'm going to go back in. I mean, what do you think?
Could be something like pre-vegetable, but close maybe to rhubarb acidity. It's sweet, but the acidic profile.
I love that descriptor.
Yeah.
Rhubarb is going on the label. That's definitely going on there because it is. It's got that really kind of like fruity, but also kind of like sharpness to it, and a body as well. No, that's fantastic. I think it is. You can tell this is new plant tissue. You can tell that this is new planting because it's just so fresh. And
I think it's the first time we have a coffee that's younger than the telescope.
Wow, well there's a first. That's pretty cool. No, I think it's great. We've only done it brewed because I didn't want you to mess about with the grinder doing it for espresso. But this will make a great espresso, I think. That sweetness and the milk chocolate.
We should try it on the EK.
Well, we'll try it. They can try it at home. We won't worry about them. We might try it though. But this is fun. I'm a big fan of this coffee. I love what they're doing on the farm. They have so many different varietals. So they've got like yellow bourbon, orange bourbon, red bourbon, geishas.
They made the whole collection.
Exactly. And now they planted more Caturra because it's easier to plant. We've also got the Cataille from there, which is going to be going on the site at the same time as well. So it's kind of nice that we're getting this variety that we can trace back in Bolivia, because a lot of the time you just think, oh, it's Typica, because nobody knows what it is. So come and check out Telescope. Come see Nico. He will look after you. He does the best toast in the world as well, which I'm going to have in a minute.
Oh, you didn't?
Not yet. I was waiting until I recorded this so I can relax. These guys don't know how much I'm on edge waiting to record this. Yeah. Thank you very much for letting me do this.
Thank you, Steve.
Thank you for Paris treating me so nicely as well. No Russian football fans have tried to beat me for anything.
Yeah.
Yet. There is plenty of time. Wait till the England shirt comes on and then.
Exactly.
Yeah, no. It's been fantastic. Thank you for listening, and do remember, life is definitely too short for bad coffee.
Yeah.
Salut. Perfect.